It's your boy Data bringing you yet another video, and this time around I will be discussing whether or not to pull for JING YUAN, Silverwolf, and LUOCHA, because my main man Joseph dropped a comment down below. So I figured, I'm sure other people are wondering the same question, but I honestly am seeing whether or not to pull for the 3 or to save, who to skip. And I just want to say thank you for this comment. I appreciate it, man, and I got your answer covered in this video. I'll be going over pros and cons of each of the 3 characters to look out for if you're strictly pulling only for power level alone. With that being said, if you guys already have a favorite, I mean, go for it. All 3 of them are really good. It's just a matter of who you like more, to be honest. We are going to be talking about JING YUAN first, because out of the 3 characters, Jing's banner is of course going to be the closest. Jing is a 5-star erudition lightning character. His pro is that he has strong AoE damage, as well as still being able to keep up in the single target DPS scenarios. Another pro for Jing is that he has really good 4 stars on his banner, may it be from Shu Shang and Ting Yong. Even March 7th is also a good pickup if you manage to get a constellation serve giving you shields. If you skip Seele, you can possibly get Jing and or another character, because if you skip Seele, then you're lacking in the DPS department unless you have Yang Qing or another character. One of Jing's cons is that if you built Serval, like, those 2 are 1-to-1 replacements of each other. At least for me, when it comes to 5-star units, I prefer 5-star units who create fresh new teams from one another, or have at least gameplay mechanics that alter how the game would be played with that said 5-star. And if you built Serval, then they're going to be replace each other in teams, so it's nothing new. Another con for JING YUAN is that he doesn't have any utility outside of doing damage. So with that being said, he is more likely to be power crap in a sense, because all he is for his damage, and if he doesn't do the most damage, then but at this time we can't say that, because he does a lot of damage as of right now, which I think is perfectly fine. So because of that, I placed his pull value to 3 out of 5 for the free to play. Next on the list of the characters we are going to be talking about, Silverwolf, which is my personal favorite. She is a 5-star quantum nifty character. Some of her pros are that she has a game altering mechanic that, I'm gonna be honest, I doubt anyone is going to be able to create weaknesses onto the enemy like how she does. So just in case you don't know how her skill works, let's say you have 2 quantum, 1 ice, and 1 fire, and you're going against like a ice, imaginary, and wind enemy. So what Silverwolf does, she uses her skill and then she puts a bug onto the enemy. Depending on what elements you have on your team, that is the element that she is going to apply onto the enemy. So let's say you mostly have quantum, you use Silverwolf, you can just spam her skill and make quantum weaknesses on all the enemies you go up against, which allows you to have easier time when it comes to team drafting, because you are not worried about what elements the enemy has at that point, because you have Silverwolf. You can just implant the one you want, so then you can do more damage to the enemy. That also means she will be less gear dependent, because her main utility does come from the fact that she just makes enemies weaker through the weakness, the toughness bar, because she implants the weaknesses. Although that is a pro, one of her cons is that if your units are if you're like already struggling in the game, I feel like she is more of a win more kind of unit. If you already don't have good units, as in your team lacks damage or defensive capabilities, Silverwolf is not going to provide that for your team, thus meaning she could be essentially useless for your account if you just don't have anywhere to start off with. Another con is if her banner placement is before LUOCHA, then you are more likely to skip, because LUOCHA, spoilers, I think he is going to be the most valuable for a free-to-play account, depending on some scenarios with going on with your account. So that's why I put her pull value to 3 out of 5. Now, I definitely saved the best for last. We are now going to be talking about LUOCHA, and if you are not familiar, you didn't get far enough in the story, you would know that he is a 5-star imaginary abundance character. His pros is that unlike the other 2 healers, he provides good damage and good heals. Another pro is that since we do not have that many defensive units / healers or do shielding, most of them are going to be on 5 stars, being Bailu and Japard. He is looking like a must pull if you really need defensive, because at that point you only have Natasha, Mark, and the Fire MC, and Remy Chaos is tough. You're gonna need another healer eventually, and he's your next closest thing. He has an auto heal mechanic with no skill point, but he only auto heals if the unit is below 50% HP, and it is through his Abyss Flower stacks. I will get more into his kit when he gets closer into the game, but he has an auto heal mechanic based on the amount of Abyss Flower he has, and he gets that stack through his skill in itself. It's not like he has cons per se, but his cons morally impact the other 2 banners. So if he's on the 2nd banner, then you're gonna have to definitely skip either Jing or Silver Wolf to get him, basically. But if he's on the 1st banner, then you can kind of, well, either way, it might be tough for Jing, because if he is the 1st banner, then you might still be inclined to skip him, but then you can get Silver Wolf or try to attempt to get Silver Wolf. And then cons is if you already have the before mentioned defensive units, as in Bailu and Japard. If you have both of them, LUOCHA might not be a character you might want if you already have both of them, because Bailu is good on her own on one side, and then Japard and Natasha should be good on the other. Or you can even have Fire MC and Bailu, and then Japard and Natasha, depending on the elemental line for the enemy in that floor. He is also imaginary, keep that in mind, and we only have 2 imaginary characters as of right now. We'll only have 2 including him as of right now. So his pull value is a little bit higher for the free to play. I'll give him a 4 out of 5. If the pros align for you, I would say he's a safe option if you want to invest your stellar data into a character, imaginary unit. And I hope that this video helped you guys a lot. With that being said, it's your boy Dai, signing out. Deuces.
Kiss